guys do know this is supposed to be a kid show, right?
エレキ頭脳のエレキビームを浴びたお前は電気人間となったんだ。
そうか、それでみんなを感電させてしまったんだ。
Robocop from the makers of Incest Away body spray.
A kid show. Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us.
Chouju Sentai! Liveman!
Welcome, I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and this is my 200th video. As such, I thought I'd do something special by reviewing the first Sentai series from the 80s I had actually ever watched, and that is Chouju Sentai Liveman. Chouju Sentai Liveman premiered in February 1988 after Maskman had been completed. In addition, Liveman was celebrated as the 10th anniversary for Super Sentai, as at the time, Go Ranger and Jekka were not counted as part of the franchise. Liveman also featured a lot of firsts for the entire franchise, as it was the first time a female ranger was blue, the first series to not be 50 or more episodes, the first series to feature 2 main mechs combining, and a few other things that I will go into more detail on during this review. So let's kick this review off by taking a look at the heroes. The heroes. Liveman was the second Sentai series to kick off with only 3 Rangers, at least initially, which hadn't been done since Sun Vulcan in 81. And like Sun Vulcan, the suits are based on animals. Our first 3 Rangers in the show are Yusuke Amamiya, Joe Ahara, and Megumi Misaki. Daisuke Shima, Kazuhiko Nishimura, and Megumi Mori play our trio of heroes. Huh, so Megumi Mori plays Megumi. That's kinda cool. I wonder if that caused any issues though. Do actors find it weird when they play a character with their own name? Anyway, when the series kicks off, our trinity of students are working for a special university that caters in space development known as Academia Island. During their stay, 3 of their rivals decide to betray everyone and head off into space to join an evil empire known as Volt. But not before killing 2 of their classmates, Mari and Takuji. This motivates the group into preparing for an invasion that does not occur for the next 2 years after they have graduated. When Volt does attack the Earth though, pretty much every member of Academia is killed except for our 3 heroes. Who quickly retaliate by transforming into Liveman.
Chouju Sentai! Liveman!
They each have their own weapons, some that form a bazooka, and normally finish off the regular sized monster with Biomotion Buster. Unfortunately, there isn't too much to say about the original 3. Yusuke is the kind-hearted leader who wants to set everything right. Joe is a skateboarder who likes helping women to earn their affections. Megumi is your typical female ranger with a father who is part of the military. Their personalities are pretty cut and dry as they go along, but we do learn about the friendships they had made with those who turned against them as the series progresses. We also learn that Yusuke had a crush on Rui Senda, who became Dr. Mazenda upon joining Volt. They are a likable and entertaining cast with strong acting, which makes up for the writing follies. The hard part though is that they are kind of boring to watch at times, so you would think adding in 2 additional Rangers would help spice up their personalities. Regrettably, the opposite occurs as Junichi Aikawa and Tetsuya Yano take away from their team dynamic rather than add to it. These 2 idiots are played by Jim Kawamoto and Seru Yamaguchi, and they bring absolutely nothing to the table that makes them important.
Congratulations, you're a failure.
In fact, the first episode after their introduction features Junichi getting impregnated by an alien. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. I'll talk more about that episode later though. The only aspect of this duel that makes them interesting is first, this is the first time that both the Black and Green Ranger have been on a team at the same time, and secondly, they are the brothers to Mari and Takuji. Of course, this also adds some confusion because in the first core of the series, Yusuke befriends Takuji's younger brother, who helps in the construction of Lai Cougar. He never once made any mention to having an older brother, nor did any of the pictures with him and Takuji show otherwise. It doesn't mean it isn't impossible, but rather implausible. Nevertheless, I probably would not even be harping on this aspect if it weren't so poorly written or implemented.
ユースケさんが作ってくれたんだよ、兄ちゃん。
The Rangers don't really have a mentor, but instead a robot sidekick that helps them out from time to time. Her name is Corone and she is weird. She looks like a robot version of Chung-Li in her alternate costume colors, but she is kind of a cool character. She occasionally will go out and try to help fight with the Rangers, and she even gets an episode where one of Volt's foot soldiers falls in love with her. It's kind of cute in a creepy sort of way.
コロンさん、僕たちピンポンピンポンだよね。
The villains.
If there is one thing that Liveman does have, it is its villains, and some truly remarkable ones to boot.
First is the ruler of the Armed Brain Volt Army.
Say that 5 times fast.
Great Professor Bias, played by the legendary Joji Nakata.
とへりくだりながらも君は自分の計画に酔いしれ、我が武装頭脳軍ボルトの科学力を証明する素晴らしい計画だ。
If you do not recognize that name, you might know him better as Alucard in Hellsing, Monte Cristo in Gankutsu, Falcon in Escaflowne, and hundreds of other anime roles. He was also Crowler in Flashman and is currently the voice of Azald in Zyuohger. The hard part about Bias is that I really can't say anything about him due to spoilers, as we know next to nothing about him until the last few episodes of the show. It is kind of a letdown as they have such an outstanding actor do nothing but complain about how his minions suck, to the point that he has to give them report cards every few episodes to motivate them to try and suck less. The scoring aspect doesn't even make sense since one of the generals will receive like 200 points for attacking people, but then nothing for blowing up several buildings. Also, I believe there was only like one time where they actually lost points for the Rangers beating them.
常に自分が一番とうぬぼれ慢心していたからだ。私から見れば取るに足らぬ才能にあぐらをかき命を削るほどの努力をしなかったからだ。
Moving on, the series starts out with the 3 academia traitors as his generals. There is Dr. Kemp, Dr. Mazenda, and Dr. Oblar. Dr. Kemp is played by my personal favorite Toku actor Yutaka Hirose, who was Jin in Die Ranger and also plays villains in Jetman and Flashman. He decides to give up his humanity by mutating himself, and he can turn into a blue furry-skinned bird-like creature called Beauty Beast Kemp.
No, Beauty Beast Kemp, not Beauty and the Beast core. He's not Raging Raven or anything.
Later on, he receives an upgrade by sleeping in a clamshell.
Yeah, and he's also naked when he does this upgrade. Which does bring some hilarity.
And he becomes Fear Beast Kemp. He does have some really great moments to shine, and we get to learn more about the rivalry between him and Yusuke as the show progresses. Sadly, the last 2 episodes really ruin him with things that feel out of character, but Hirose does an excellent job with the role he was given. Akiko Kirusu, who is also in Die Ranger as Gaara, plays Dr. Mazenda.
Machine gun jubblies? How did I miss those, baby?
She turns herself into a machine and is constantly upgrading herself throughout the show in order to be better. There's not too much to her character added outside of her not caring about anything other than her assigned task. She had no interest in Yusuke when they were classmates because having a relationship would take away from her studies. As such, it is kind of fitting to have a character with a robotic personality actually become a robot. Last of the initial trio is Dr. Oblar, played by Toru Sakai, who completely turns himself into a monster to the show that he is willing to give up everything that makes him human to be BS's top student.
You got real ugly.
This in turn leads to some interesting decisions that occur later on in the series, but he is also very underutilized and is nothing more than wasted potential. Speaking of wasted potential, BS has a robot sidekick named Gush, whose main job is to make the monsters grow every goddamn episode. This machine man was a total waste, because he only really ever does anything once in the show and that is it. He could have added a break into the show's formula if they actually did something with him.
Giga Phantom. Giga Phantom. Giga Phantom. Giga Phantom.
Throughout Liveman, other characters join in. We have Dr. Ashura, who starts out as a numbskull, short-tempered criminal who is bored. As such, he joins Dr. BS and is given a wide array of intelligence.
56,796円なり。
He doesn't really give up his humanity for anything, but he does become stronger and smarter while wearing a suit of armor. Like Gush, he is completely wasted as he starts out interesting and then becomes nothing more than a burden on the cast as a whole.
Falcon Punch!
One thing I do love about him though is that he has his own foot soldiers that come out of his body.
Cyber Bushi!
Not to mention their designs are pretty wicked. Then we have two moronic looking aliens that accomplish absolutely nothing. They are Gyodos and Butchie. Well, I shouldn't say they accomplish nothing, as they are there for a purpose as far as BS is concerned. But they are so poorly written that they did not need to exist at all. All they really do is take screen time away from developing the characters that matter. The foot soldiers, called Jimmers, are pretty cool and surprisingly competent. They can disguise themselves as humans and are able to hold their own, even when broken. Plus, the mohawk look is quite awesome.
And very 80s.
Finally, the monsters of the week are called brain beasts. Each general has his or her own technique for creating them, but they are created using an artificial brain as a starting point.
I need more plasma.
Some of them are organic, some are machine-based. It all varies. My favorite as far as designs matter goes to Plasma Brain. He just looks so freaking awesome being a skeleton-esque creature. My second favorite is probably Spirit Brain, and I love that he could resurrect previous dead monsters.
Oh, you gotta love the fact that Toei was able to reuse old costumes.
Now, this might sound like it is a weird complaint given it's a Sentai show, but this show features a Monster of the Week in every episode. I don't mean like we have one brain beast that sticks around for a few episodes. I mean it is a brand new brain beast every episode.
Even the final friggin' episode has just a generic brain beast as its final monster and the standard mech battle fanfare.
The mecha.
Now, Liveman might not have the greatest looking designs as far as the mecha is concerned, but it does have one major point of significance. This is the first series to actually use animal looking mecha.
Live Robo is compiled of Jet Falcon, Land Lion, and Aqua Dolphin. While Jet Falcon and Aqua Dolphin may look more like vehicles than animals, Land Lion looked like an actual lion. This was revolutionary as all the series before it, even Sun Vulcan, used vehicles that were named after the animal with very little representing it. When taking that into consideration, Live Robo must have been incredible to see on screen. Today, however, he's mediocre at best. There's nothing bad about his overall design, but he doesn't look like anything special. The worst part is how formulaic he is used. Nearly every episode has to have a mech battle. So he comes out, he combines, he does a punch or a kick, then pulls out a sword and finishes off the monster. It is really boring because it really is just the same fight over and over and over and over and over and over. Oh, and all the mecha are carried by Grand Tortoise and delivered by Machine Buffalo.
Again, vehicles named after animals rather than being animals.
Then we get introduced to Rhino Liner and Bison Liner, which are pretty much just semis with the fronts looking like a rhino or a bison. They form Live Boxer, and boy does he own up to that name. He is pretty much just a box that happens to have appendages which also look like mini boxes. The only thing he really does is sometimes the Rangers will use Live Robo one episode and then Live Boxer the next, so you're not always watching the same fight sequence every episode.
Just every other episode.
Thankfully, the two machines can combine into Super Live Robo, which at least adds another degree of variation to the fights. I do like the overall design of this form, especially the helmet, but the mech battles in this show are so damn boring.
Never watch an episode when you are really tired, because chances are you will fall asleep during the mech fight.
The effects and music.
As I have said in the past, these shows thrive on their effects and music, and this one is no different.
The effects are pretty good with some nice explosions. There just really isn't anything special about them. They are pretty much on par with all the Sentai series that were out at the time though. The camera work is pretty good and it does have some really great cinematography and lighting. Not to the extent of like Ohranger had, but good enough. The music is quite enjoyable, energetic, especially the battle music and the Volt theme. Both the opening song and ending song to the show were sung by Yusuke's actor Daisuke Shima, while Kosugi Yasuo was the composer. They are pretty good as far as getting you into the mood of the show and taking you out of it, so there are no complaints there either. The episodes.
Given how repetitious and formulaic Liveman is, its episodes can be hit or miss.
The plots can be kind of weird though, from turning kids into pigs to having bugs become big from a monster's blast. Oh, and time travel.
Yes, 様のタイムマシンでこのトンネルをタイムトンネルにし。
Sure, Sentai has always had weird plots, it's just that there was nothing here that truly wowed me as other shows have done in the past. The episode that I would say is my most favorite-ish is called The Man Who Bit a Brain Beast. It is the introductory episode to Dr. Ashura when he was simply a criminal known as Arashi Basumijima. The thing that makes this episode unique is that the brain beast is turning people into apes.
I'm gonna a human. What? A human. A human.
Arashi's men are being attacked, so he decides to retaliate by biting the brain beast. This ferocity causes Baboon Brain to take orders from Arashi instead of Dr. Oblar, and we get to watch the group rob banks together. Hilarity ensues, and it is the only episode that feels like it is trying to break the repetitive formula that would plague the entire series. On the other hand, the episode that was so poorly written and tried way too hard to be funny was the aforementioned Mommy! The Mysterious Monster's Cry. Oh god, do I hate this episode. It is the first episode after Green and Black have been introduced, and we get to see Live Green, Shinichi, get pregnant from a monster.
Oh, that's stupid!
It is so goddamned awful. It doesn't make any sense, and then the monster wanting to not be aborted is just stupid.
My body, my choice.
I can't even properly talk about this episode because I hate Jinichi, I hate the monster, and I hate this entire plot point.
It's a stupid, stupid, stupid episode.
This is episode 31, so if you watch the series for yourself, do yourself a favor, skip that one.
Liveman is, strangely enough, the only series from the 80s to not receive a theatrical movie, and I don't know why. But as such, there's nothing to talk about there. Oops. Well, anyway, for a show that is actually focusing on having the top scores of the class, this show is just kind of aggressively average. Thus, I'd give Liveman 3 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. It isn't anywhere near the worst Sentai series I've ever seen, it just doesn't try to excel in anything. The actors are by far the best thing about the show because they all do a phenomenal job with the roles they were given, even if sometimes there wasn't much to work with. If you must see every Sentai show and are dying to see this one, definitely check it out. You won't be disappointed in the long run because it is entertaining. However, if you don't need to see it, you don't feel you have to see every show, then you can most likely survive by skipping this one. And with that said, until next time, bye. It's okay, baby. You're okay. There's nothing broken on you. Okay. It's alright. Oh, crap.